What's going on, man? Sick or something? Looks like you got gut kicked.
It's hell. It's hell. It's Helen.
Helen. Has something to do with Helen, I'm guessing. Helen.
Helen.
Helen?
Helen is having an affair.
Welcome to the club, man. Nobody thinks it can happen to them the first time, buddy. Same exact thing happened to me with wife number 2. Remember? I had no idea nothing's going on, right? I come home one day and the house is completely empty. And I mean completely empty. She even took the ice cube trays out of the freezer. What kind of a sick bitch takes the ice cube trays out of the freezer?
So it's Helen.
Hey, Harry. Hey, listen, Helen still loves you. You know, she just wants to bang this guy for a while, you know? It's nothing serious. You'll get used to it soon.
Stop cheering me up!
It's Two Dads, One Movie. It's the podcast where two middle-aged dads sit around and shoot the shit about the movies of the 80s and 90s. Here are your hosts, Steve Paulo and Nic Brianna. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Dads, One Movie. I'm Steve.
And I'm Nic.
And today we are taking another step through JanuArnie and looking at the 1994 James Cameron classic, True Lies. And I'm so excited about this one. Oh man, I'll be honest with you. This was my pick, and I got to be honest with you, Nic. Like I picked it because I have very fond memories of it. I had not seen it, I think, in at least 10, maybe 15 years. It had been a long time since I've seen it. Watched it yesterday, and look, we've watched a lot of great movies together. This is episode 45, so we have watched a bunch of great episodes together, a bunch of great movies together, and I don't know that I've had more fun watching any of them than I had watching this. It was a lot of fun.
This one, it doesn't let up. It really doesn't. Yeah. And I'm glad you picked this one. What's your history with this film?
So I think I probably saw this. It wouldn't have been in the theaters. Again, rated R. Came out when we were like 14. My parents, they were pretty strict on the R-rated stuff until I got a little older. So this would have been a blockbuster pickup for me at about 16 or 17 years old. But I definitely saw it in high school. I had a huge crush on Eliza Dushku from, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and a few of the movie Bring It On, later on in her career, and then Jay and Silent Strike Back. So huge Eliza Dushku fan, very, very fond of her. She's actually almost exactly our age. She was born in 80. And there's that. And then, of course, like Jamie Lee Curtis, by the time I saw this, I'd seen the theatrical cut of Trading Places. And
nice.
It was not surprising when she, takes off that dress and just the body is just banging, like absolutely ridiculous. There were a lot of things to enjoy with this movie. It's funny. It's a ton of action, just wall to wall action sequences. And then, beautiful people. And it was a lot of great stuff to enjoy. Maybe not enjoyable in every way anymore. We'll see as we get through it. But yeah, like this is just one of those movies that, stuck with me, I think, because of its combination of comedy, of humor and action, in a way that pure comedies and pure action movies maybe don't. So
yeah. I mean, it is really, really funny. I definitely didn't see this in the theater, and I actually didn't see this for a while. Okay. I don't think I saw it until after college, which is weird because it was just one that I never owned. Yeah. And I never had movie channels, so it was like, I am subject to the DVDs that I own. So once again, let's watch Mark for Death. And so I didn't see this probably till my, mid-late 20s. And was blown away by it. Was like, why haven't I seen this before? This is incredible. And I love Arnie, and it was just one that wasn't in my rotation. So much fun, and even one that it's rated R, and it has an earned R rating, but it's not horrifically grotesque like some of the R-rated movies that we've seen.
Absolutely.
It's more of like a PG-15.
I can see that. Yeah.
I feel like I could watch this with my kid because some of the things that make it R rating, I don't care about language. Yeah. And the violence is not so graphic and cruel that it would like disturb her. You know?
Last week we watched Total Recall and we talked about that. And that's a Verhoeven. And Verhoeven is deliberately and over the top gruesome and gory with his violence. That's like in his style. That is the opposite of James Cameron's style. Yes. James Cameron's style is much more about, there's action. There's people getting killed left and right. Lots of gunplay, whatever. But we're not getting close-ups of exploding heads or anything like that like we do with like a John McTiernan movie or a Paul Verhoeven movie, something like that. So I agree with you. PG-15 is like a pretty accurate kind of way to think about this, I think.
This is great. And I was super psyched to rewatch it. And I watched this with my wife. She enjoys it. I mean, like you said, James Cameron it's so palatable. It's so crowd friendly. that it's hard to not just have a big ass smile on your face the whole time. So I can't wait to talk to you about this.
All right, let's jump into the facts on True Lies. All right, True Lies was released on July 15th, 1994 with an R rating and a running time of 141 minutes. Actually, the longest movie we've done so far. Wow. Directed by James Cameron, written by James Cameron, but I found this interesting. Written by James Cameron, based on a screenplay by Claude Zidi, Simon Michael, and Didier Kaminka. So apparently there was a screenplay of this movie, but then Cameron, basing it off that screenplay, wrote enough of a different screenplay and a different story to be the sole credited writer on the movie that was actually made.
Wow.
But then had to include the based upon had to be included there by Writers Guild rules. All right. Starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Tom Arnold. Scores on Rotten Tomatoes, 77%, respectable, on IMDb, and also respectable 7.3. We kind of hit that under between 7.1 and 7.5 seems to be our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
A lot of movies hitting that area on IMDb.
It kind of seems to be IMDb's wheelhouse for the most part.
We got a split decision from the critics Siskel and Ebert, with a thumbs up from the homie Roger and a thumbs down from the punk ass bitch Gene. All right, awards. Quite a lot of them, actually. So no Oscar wins, but a nomination in 1995 for visual effects. Great. Several wins at the 1995 Saturn Awards. Best Actress for Jamie Lee Curtis, Best Director for James Cameron, and Best Special Effects. Then at the 1995 American Comedy Awards, Jamie Lee Curtis also won Funniest Lead Actress in a Motion Picture. And at the 95 Golden Globes, she won Best Lead Actress in a Comedy. So Jamie Lee Curtis kind of cleaned up.
Yeah.
Saturn Award, Golden Globe, American Comedy Awards, all that. It was also nominated for 5 MTV Movie Awards, but did not win any of those little astronaut guys. On a $115 million budget, which, nothing says James Cameron and Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 90s like over $100 million budget, that's for sure. The box office take, $379 million, 3.3 times what it cost to make, which, like, while not a huge multiplier, I mean, almost 400 million, huge blockbuster.
Oh,
hit.
for
It's
sure,
impossible to look at it any other way. So those are the facts on True Lies.
One thing about Cameron and the budgets real quick.
Yeah.
I remember hearing an interview with him. I think it was when the second Avatar came out, and they were talking about, like, how do you justify spending $1 billion making a movie? He's like, I don't think you understand what happens with the movie's budget. I get that money and then I give it to people to do stuff. He's like, this is an economy where money is moving around. It's not just me taking $1 billion to make a movie. He's like, no, you don't understand. Like, that's not going in my pocket. And it's not just going to, like, my company. Yeah.
Like, I'm hiring, especially for a movie like Avatar, right? I'm hiring thousands of craftspeople and experts and artisans and et cetera. And they're all plying their craft and getting paid well to do it.
Right.
Stop complaining.
Yeah.
Essentially. It's so really just,
I always like that.
It's like routing money from the studio to actual people with talent.
Dude,
right?
That's exactly it. Right.
All right, let's kick off True Lies here. So we open up, nice cold open. Well, not really a cold open because we do get the title card ahead of time, but the movie starts off, we are told we are at Lake Chapeau in Switzerland. And I love this because it's Switzerland, and I've always loved Switzerland in one particular way, which is it's almost doesn't have a culture of its own. And I'm sure anybody out there listening Swiss will hate me for this, but
it's culturally neutral.
It is, but it's equally seemingly influenced by German, Italian, and French cultures. All 3 languages are officially spoken throughout the country. And so we have, in this thing, we have people speaking German, like guards speaking German, signs in German, but then, like, when he goes and, like, a little bit talks to, like, a catering staff, he speaks in French.
Yeah.
And that's correct. And it's just like, it's just funny to me that this happens, but we're in Switzerland.
It's a funny kind of typecasting based on the job. Of course, the cook is French and the guard is German.
There you go. That's a good point. Exactly. So the first thing we see is there's this, like, gate into this chateau that's on the lake, but it actually is on the water, which is frozen over. It's the winter. And so we kind of pan down underneath the water, and there is a man in a scuba suit with an underwater blowtorch that is cutting his way through, which is really cool. Any kind of underwater torch.
Underwater plus fire explosion is always going to work for me.
Absolutely.
Dude. And he's he gets through whatever he needs to get through. So this place has crazy security if they have, like, a gate under the water.
That's right.
To even approach, like, the moat of the property or whatever.
Very highly secured chateau up in Switzerland. And basically Arnold Schwarzenegger pops up out of the water. He uses a knife to cut through the ice and kind of pops up, and he gets through. And this is the first time we see Tom Arnold. He is in a van nearby on surveillance, basically telling Schwarzenegger, like, Schwarzenegger's character is Harry, Harry Tasker. Tom Arnold plays Gib. I think his name is like Albert Gibson, but he's always called Gib. And so he's like basically being the eyes and ears for Harry while he goes on this mission. I love one of my favorite things that's early in this movie is when he pulls off this wetsuit and it's just a perfect tuxedo underneath it. None of it's wet. It's like perfectly everything. Yeah. He's got a really cool wet bag with a bunch of stuff in it, like the backpack thing. I love all the little tech in this movie. It's really great.
And I love being able to look perfect after that situation. And we see, there's definitely the James Bond element, and like this opening sequence is very influenced by several James
incredibly
Bond things.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll get to the specifics on that in a minute. But yeah, so he's got that. And one of the other things I love too, so he goes into this hotel, he goes in, or the chateau, whatever, he goes in through kind of a service entrance. So he's in through the kitchen and he comes out, and that's when he's like stopped by, like a chef or like, excuse me, monsieur, whatever. And he speaks perfect French to him about basically like, what is this food? Do you serve this to your dog? Well, get this out of here. Like start all over or something like that. Which is like, who would listen to anybody? Like everybody there's in a tux. Like this doesn't look important.
Right.
Like, what's going on? Like,
but you just have to act confident. It's the act like you belong there kind of approach. And if you can yell at the help, they're going to really think you belong there, right?
And speaking of that, like he really is hiding in plain sight. He is being secretive by talking to everyone.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's because in a situation like that, if you're slinking in the corner, right, avoiding people, that's what's going to. So he's like, oh, Colonel, nice to see you again. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, sure. Who is that? Like,
I always love the parties, like the formal events, and the high ranking military guys get to wear all their medals and stuff. Do you think those guys are ever like, dude, I am so tired of people asking me if I've killed anyone. Can I just be Rick tonight? Can I just rent a suit? Can we go to Celix? This is terrible.
I don't think it's legal for them to own a suit that isn't their
or if you do, you have to pin all the medals.
That's right. You got to put it on there still. And so we see him go upstairs. And he kind of finds his way, or he actually finds his way to the second floor balcony, which is allowed.
Yep.
And he climbs up the outside to get to the third floor, which is like that. Nobody's supposed to be up there. And he basically puts like a transmission device on this laptop, or not laptop, this desktop computer, which is running Windows 3.1, but they're there for a man named Khaled. And sure enough, the Windows logo is in Arabic, which I always love that little detail. But he connects that and then he lets Tom Arnold know, like, okay, we're in, like, whatever, do your magic. And there's this other guy, I can't remember his name, in the van with them, who's like their assistant tech guy. And he starts trying to decrypt the hard drive or whatever to get a hold of these files. And this is the point. This is why they're there, is to apparently steal files from this Khaled guy.
Yeah. And he's, and I think Arnold then, he can let that run. He doesn't need to monitor it the whole time. So he gets out of that room.
He creates a connection, basically.
Right. Yeah. On the floor, they're not supposed to be.
Yes.
And he's immediately approached by a guard as he walks out the door. And I love this scene. This is an excellent detail. Is he says something in Arabic, whatever, I have to take a major leak. And in parentheses in the subtitles, it says perfect Arabic.
Right.
And I love that so much. Like, that's just one of those things that just really pushes this movie.
And I think that I agree with you. And I also think it's super important for us to recognize that the idea here, I think, is that he used perfect slang. And I think that's what it's trying to indicate, right? Is specifically about like taking a major leak. Like it's such a weird thing to say, but to do it in
whatever
a way,
they say for leaks might be different. Yeah,
that's I think the indication there. It's really great. But I love it, too. It's not just like a subtitle. It's like in perfect Arabic, like in parentheses,
just to let us know, like, oh no, this guy is good. This guy's believable.
So he heads back downstairs, back to the party. He needs to get out, and but before he can, he is chatting with a woman. He's looking at some art pieces, trying to like avoid detection from the guards who are now looking around for him
because they discovered the ice had been broken.
That's right, yeah.
Outside,
and so actually that's not yet. No, that's in a little bit. This is still just the original guy he talked to about where to go take a leak is like calls down to the other guards like, hey, keep an eye on this guy.
Okay,
but he's kind of again hiding in plain sight in the party. But the woman he's talking to is her character's name is Juno Skinner, played by Tia Carrere, and I got to say, the hold this woman had on me in the 90s. Between Wayne's World 2, this, Cole the Conqueror, which was a terrible Kevin Sorbo movie, but she's gorgeous in it.
Showdown in Little Tokyo, great Dolph Lundgren, Brandon Lee vehicle. She's great in that.
The hold this woman had on me in the 90s is remarkable.
Yeah.
Gorgeous woman. But yeah. So he is now being told, hey, you got to get out of there. And this is, I think, now they see the ice broken and the alarm gets sounded. And this is Tom Arnold is now like, hey, Harry, you got to get out of there. It's time to go now. No more. And he goes to Juno and he goes, do you tango? And they start a very sexy tango. And I love one of my favorite Tom Arnold lines early is he goes, ballsy, stupid, but ballsy.
his commentary is nice. And I always like the scenario of the guys in the van.
Yeah.
Because you never really get like the boring all business guy. It's always, oh, you're a wisecracker. You're going to be an in the van tech guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this tango's happening. And as the guards are kind of all closing in and they're looking around and they're suspicious of him. And at some point he decides like, all right, I'm just going through the front door.
Yep.
Like I'm going to leave through the front door. On his way out of the front door, they asked to see his invitation. And he basically, pushes this button on a cigarette pack and creates a big explosion. So now he's off.
He had like planted a bomb by like the boathouse near where he came up out of the lake or whatever. He had this like little thing. He put it there. But I love a guy who goes like, "Excuse me, sir, can I see your invitation?" He goes, "Sure, here's my invitation." And that's when he presses the button. Everything blows up. And then this is the weird. So now we get the official, and I know this is a 90s movie, with the official guard dog of the 80s, the Doberman Pinscher. Two of them run at him, and they're clearly going to catch him. I mean, it's hard to run through the snow. Dobermans are much lighter. They're going to get. So he turns around and does the funniest thing ever when the two dogs jump at him, and he basically catches their heads in his two hands and slams their heads together.
Yeah.
Which is great because it doesn't kill the dogs, but it disorients them enough that after they land and shake it off, they're still not able to really chase him. They're just like, no, I'm done.
And he smashes the dog's heads. He goes, stay. Hey, to the point. Okay. And one thing about Two Dads, One Movie is we are never wrong. So the Doberman is the official attack dog of the 80s in the United States.
Oh.
As we know, culturally, Europe is often a decade behind, which is why they love, Mr. T in 2004 or whatever the fuck.
Right.
So I think in Europe, the Doberman was the current official attack dog of the 90s.
So it took the 90s to get them Blue Jeans, MTV, and Dobermans, right? They had to wait for the Rottweiler to come later.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, they got Trans Ams in 1998. Yeah. So, but this scene is excellent.
Yes.
Okay. So he's taken off after taking the dogs out, and he's running down this snowy hill.
Yes.
And the guards that are coming after him have got motherfucking skis, and they look so cool.
Just like
machine guns and skis.
I don't remember. Is it the opening of On Her Majesty's Secret Service? It's a couple of the James Bond movies I think have this element.
Yeah, I know it's what's the one
Tomorrow
nobody
Never
liked?
Dies.
A View to a Kill. Which is one nobody liked, where Christopher Walken was the bad guy.
That's right, and that was Roger Moore, I think, right?
It was the Roger Moore like returning for that one.
Yep. The old Roger Moore one. Yeah. He was too old for it.
But the guys on skis coming down, really cool.
Right.
And snowmobiles and stuff. And this pursuit down the hill as the van that Tom Arnold and the other guy are driving is trying to like catch up and like, be at the right spot for him as he's going down the hill.
We should also mention at this point that Harry Tasker is a Deadeye rivaled only by John Wick. The number of single pistol shots that are taking guys out while he's, fired, guns are being fired at him left and right, not hitting him. And he is just 1, 2, bang, 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 bang. And there's 4 dead guys. Like it's just really, he's a complete Deadeye. He's
super accurate. Yeah. And it doesn't slow play his skill set in this film at all.
It's quite clear this is Superman.
Yeah.
We're supposed to believe this is Superman. This is the American James Bond. This is, the secret agent of secret agents, essentially.
Yeah. And they end up getting out of there. And right as, he gets in the van, he's like, oh, duck, and takes out a couple of the last two guys, right in front of the driver's
I will say
face.
too, though, on the trip down the hill, we get the first of many, and this is like, I have very few complaints about this movie, but one of them that I do have is Arnold's stunt double. He shows up a lot. He is really obviously visible in a lot of this movie. There are a lot of complicated stunts that obviously Arnold was not going to do. He probably got 15 or 20 million to do this movie, and they weren't going to have him do any stunts, and that makes sense. But the stunt double they got for Arnold, I have 2 problems with. One, they clearly tried to rubber mask him at some point to make it a little more like Arnold's face when you're going to see it more. And you can really tell. This one in particular, I can really tell the rubber mask. The second one is his arms aren't nearly big enough. So there are several points, especially late in the movie, where he is in a ripped shirt and like hanging from a helicopter, where you can really tell the dude's arms are about half as big as they need to be. But anyway, this was the first indication I wrote down where I was like, oh man, that stunt double shot wasn't great. That wasn't the back of his head. We got a good look at his face, and that was a rubber mask.
Those are always tough with the stunt double shots. Dude, stupid HD has ruined it. We were supposed to watch this on like a 13-inch kitchen countertop CRT TV. So they make it out of there. We made our flight.
That's right.
And now Gib and Harry are pulling back up in front of Harry's house and getting back into like his cover life mode.
Right.
Oh, here, don't forget, it's your wedding ring.
Yeah.
Here's your stuff. Here's the souvenirs that you bought for the kids on our business trip and stuff. And Harry is so bummed out to return to his boring ass life in a 5-bedroom house married to Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh my God.
What a nightmare, right?
An absolute nightmare. Jesus. In like suburban DC and like a gorgeous part of the DMV, probably like Alexandria, Virginia, some wonderful little suburb, beautiful big house, gorgeous wife, who's clearly very interested in him still, right? You know, wants to be engaged with him. He is totally checked out as both a father and a husband. And, you know, obviously that becomes a major point of the plot here. But yeah, it's obvious early that he is very checked out. Gib brings a pack of cigarettes that has a little tiny camera in it and puts it up on the mantle, and then puts his jacket on the back of a chair within view of it. And then it's the idea is you can use sunglasses to see out of that camera.
Right.
And he shows them to Harry because he's come to pick him up in the morning for work. And he's like, hey, you know, check these out. And he's looking. And that's when Dana, the daughter, played by Eliza Dushku, like sneaks around and steals cash out of Gib's wallet or whatever in his jacket. And he's like, she's stealing from you. And he's like, I knew it. Gib knew it. Like, and then we get here's the thing I wish there was more of. We get the like shitty boyfriend who like shows up on the motorcycle to like, because she's 14, by the way. So she's like a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
Too young to be picked up by your boyfriend on a motorcycle. I'm sorry. But we don't get him again. There's no great scene where like Arnold beats his ass or anything. You know what I mean? Like, I love that.
He could have shown up again. A couple great Tom Arnold. One great Tom Arnold thing here. So the scene that we're in now is the morning after he was dropped off, right? And Elijah Dushku is in her motorcycle helmet, and Tom Arnold says, "Boy, I remember the first time I got shot out of a cannon." He has like a 65% hit rate in this movie, but that was one of his good lines.
I like him.
I like him in this movie, but sometimes he makes jokes that don't even work like in the movie. Like they're intentionally not
that's
gonna work.
But I count those as successes for him as an actor and a comedian.
Oh,
like if you tell the joke in a way that falls flat.
Sorry. So Gibbs jokes work like
there you go. Yeah, I got you.
One other thing that always gets me, and we see this all the time, is the old people music being enjoyed by young people.
Okay.
Because Elijah Dushku is listening to some cover version of Sunshine of Your Love by Cream.
Oh, okay.
You know, which was a song from the mid 60s.
Right,
and I don't think the kids in the 90s are like, yo, is that Ginger Baker? Like they weren't as into that kind of stuff. So that's one thing I always enjoy.
Somebody in the mid 90s covered Moondance, right? That was like a huge hit from the early 70s. There was a lot of that like 70s and 60s getting like repurposed for us in the 90s, and a lot of that.
But like everyone spending the money to make this movie likes Cream. They don't like, Badfinger or whatever band was covering it.
Fair enough.
So, and another Tom Arnold line that was funny is she's probably stealing money to pay for an abortion.
Such an asshole. She's probably banging motorcycle guy or whatever. So we get to work. They arrive at work. We're in DC, and we get this big, there's a big diagram or emblem on the floor, and it says Omega Sector, which of course is not a real thing, but this is supposed to be like, I'm guessing it's the deep cover of the CIA or something like that, right? It's the secret, MI5 kind of thing, or MI6, whatever the James Bond thing is. Same idea. It's just like a, more secret. And their boss, who they're now giving a debrief on this Switzerland mission to, is Charlton Heston.
Yep.
Looking great, looking almost exactly like that era's comic book Nick Fury.
Dude.
Like with the scars and the eye patch and everything. And obviously Nick Fury was reimagined in the, I think either late 90s or very early 2000s in the comic books as a black man. And then when we got the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they cast Samuel L. Jackson. It really solidified that as like the sort of quintessential Nick Fury thing. But the original Nick Fury from the 50s and on into the 90s was always like a white guy with gray hair and a bunch of scars on his face and an eye patch. Like that was like the standard look. So it's clear there's no way Cameron was not referencing Nick Fury with Charlton Heston's character design.
I love the eye patch as a visual.
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite eye patch guys?
Snake Plissken.
Yeah. He's probably my top
and actually
one.
Sticking with Kurt Russell, Captain Ron as well, actually.
Oh, that's right. He did double eye patch roles. Do you think he had the rule like Pierce Brosnan where it's like, you're James Bond, you can't be in a tuxedo and everything in anything else? So like, look, Kurt, as long as we're doing the Escape from Blank franchise, you can't wear an eye patch elsewhere.
I don't think Carpenter would ever be that way. That's a much more Albert R. Broccoli kind of move than a John Carpenter move.
But eye patch always works. And it's like a small, like 90s fashion style eye patch.
Very tiny.
I was like, dude, you can get more coverage than that.
It almost looks like the eye patch version of Joe Pesci's glasses in Moonraker or Moonwalker.
Yeah, these little tiny eye patch things. Also, Slick Rick the rapper, great eye patch guy. Yeah. But yeah, so kind of the plot of it is they're finding out this billionaire who Arnold was trying to get information from at this party at the beginning.
Right.
We found that he has transferred money to this bank that's known to be kind of a payment hub for terrorist activities. So that's
like
kind of what
$100
we have to
million.
go off. Yeah,
tons of
crazy
money.
amount of money there. And at the same time, there were 4 warheads stolen from Kazakhstan.
That's right.
So my wife.
My wife.
Yeah, so that's where we're at with their
right. And Heston Charlton is not all that impressed. He's like, this is not blowing up my skirt, boys, or whatever. He's like, not enough info. Do you have anything concrete, like whatever? So they're going to investigate because it turns out, that Juno Skinner that you met at the party, Tia Carrere's character, she's an antiquities dealer and she works closely with Khaled, and she just brought in a ton of money's worth of new antiquities into the country for him. And he paid her from this account, which normally he pays all of his antiquity stuff from this other account. So now we want to dig in on her. And so
art and collectibles are so ripe generally for money laundering, tax fraud, all that stuff. So it's the perfect.
Because how much you spend, if you overspend on art, who's really going to call you out on it? Right, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, but so they decide, okay, we got to investigate her. So he goes, he had played the character at that Swiss chateau of Harry Rehnquist. I always love keeping the same first name as part of your cover because it just makes it less likely that somebody's going to slip up or whatever. I always love that.
We talked about that in another episode too. And I think that's a great point. If someone says, hey, Harry, then you'll at least look up.
It was Sneakers, I think, Martin Bishop versus Martin, whatever his other name was or whatever. Yeah. So they're going to go investigate. So he shows up at her place of business, whatever, and it reintroduces himself essentially Harry Rehnquist, and they chat for a while. She's kind of giving him a tour, and they go into this big open warehouse room where there's clearly antiquities being opened out of crates and different restoration maybe projects happening, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And the first thing I noticed is man, a couple of the guys working here are really buff, way more than you'd expect from dudes working in an antiquities thing. That's so strange. And we get this sort of Harry is eyeballed by one of the guys that are standing there in kind of a suspicious way. So there's a little bit of foreshadowing. Yeah,
their faces are way too in focus at this point for them to not become important.
We can tell that they're in the plot. These characters are in the plot.
Yeah. And sure enough, after Harry and Juno have their conversation, one of the workers basically walks back into her office can I talk to you for a minute?
Yeah.
The other person leaves. He closes the door. He slaps her across the face. So he's clearly not who he's supposed to be. He slaps her twice. I know that was just acting, but sir, I do not like you for that. That's our Tia Carrere.
That's right. Exactly. So Gib and Harry are driving, and Gib says hey, we're being followed 3 cars back, 1 lane over, whatever. So they decide to try and figure out who's following them and why. They pull over, and Harry's got that pack of cigarettes that Gib had earlier with the sunglasses. So he's able to watch behind himself as he goes. So he walks into this shopping mall basically, and two of the guys from the antiquities thing follow him.
Yeah.
Isn't that where they is?
Yeah. And when he first gets out of the car, this I thought was interesting because we're just shown a scene where Harry, as part of his cover, has to have an incredible wealth of knowledge about a certain era of art.
Oh yeah.
All this stuff that you do to be a good spy, right? You have to learn all this shit. And then he steps out of the car, lights a cigarette, and is choking on it.
Yeah.
You are way more likely to have to pretend to be a guy who smokes cigarettes than you are to be a guy who knows about this kind of art, right?
Yes.
That should be I got to do cigarette class for the CEO.
Or learn how to just puff and make it look decent. Don't inhale, you know what I mean? You won't cough if you just puff, yeah.
But yeah, he is being followed now, and we are really in for a treat here.
So he heads into this mall, finds his way to a bathroom, and is able to set up the, he knows he's being followed because he's holding that little pack of cigarettes, so the camera's behind him. He knows he's being followed. He goes into a bathroom, sets it up so that it's showing his back. He goes to take a leak at the urinal, and the first guy follows, goes in and kind of I think he's there just to make sure that there's nobody else around. Then the other guy, the kind of bigger dude, comes in with the pistol with the silencer on and ready to just blow his head off. These guys clearly not interested in investigating who he is. They just want him gone, But of course, because he's able to see him, he, moves at the last second and starts a big fight, and he kills the one guy, and it's a good gunplay, and there's a lot of punching and people being slammed into things. It's
the
a good
toilets
bathroom fight.
Breaking, the water spraying everywhere, and then he's able. And there during this time, this is a great comedic element of this movie because they pay attention to making sure that there are funny beats throughout this film. And there's a guy who's an innocent dude who's just trying to take a dump.
Yeah, older guy, yeah.
So the whole thing's getting shot up around him. Arnie finally ends the last guy by like slamming his face into the urinal and flushing it, and he says, "Cool off."
Yeah, cool off. But while this fight's been happening, no, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just want to say that this scene here, the toilet's breaking.
Yeah.
And then the next scene here where the bad guys are kind of shooting at Tom Arnold.
Right.
And he's hiding behind a metal light post.
Oh.
The sound of the bullets there and the sound of the toilets breaking are so nice.
Nice.
As a Foley aficionado, I really, really like that. So that explains to me why it was up for all these awards.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there you go. And then and Gib gets involved because he's watching Salim, the head bad guy, who's stayed in the car. He's keeping an eye on him until while this fight's going on in the bathroom, until a bus shows up between them. And when the bus pulls away, Salim is gone.
Right.
And so now Gib's got to go after him. Well, Salim's got like a machine gun with him. He busts in on the bathroom after Harry's already taken out the other guys. He hasn't killed the second guy, the one he slammed into the toilet or the urinal, but he's, cuffing him and whatever. And he picks him up to use him as a human shield when Salim comes in, and there's more fighting and there's more gunplay and, it's going on. And then so he starts escaping. Salim does when he like loses, I think runs out of bullets or whatever, has to change. He decides to get away. It's too much for him. He ends up like jumping through a window, like Eddie Murphy getting tossed through it in Beverly Hills Cop.
It seems so easy to do based on recent films we've watched.
Yeah.
I feel like I could just hop through a window. I don't think it would work out well for me. And I'm a big guy. I think I'd bounce off it.
Yeah. I don't want to find out personally. I'm not interested, but that's when now Gib is out there and like he, Salim blows through the window behind him. And that's when he kind of hides behind this skinny light post.
Yes.
Right. And has to and is shocked himself that he doesn't get hit by anything.
Yeah. And that's another great gag. And it's the classic, the comedian bit of you move the microphone stand. If you're like really fat, you move it to the side and you say, "Oh, let me move this so you can see me." Right. So yeah, Tom Arnold like sneaking behind and he checks his body and then finally checks his dick because that's number one to Tommy Arnold, baby.
Oof, big relief.
So Salim has now yoinked a guy off his motorcycle
brutally, but like really, really impressive.
Yeah,
really clotheslines the guy.
That is right up there with Rambo taking the guy's bike in First Blood, where he stands in front of him and does the kind of like going this way, you going this way, but so slick here. And he takes it. I will say that during this scene, he takes like it's like a Kawasaki motorcycle, right? During the stunts, I feel like they kind of have to use the dirt bike, the official vehicle of crime, because I don't think that thing really has the suspension to go up the stairs and everything. They're very careful to not show the tires in the bike, like during a lot of those scenes.
Well, I think again, this is a stuntman actor thing, and it happens for both Arnold and for the guy playing Salim on this one. Because Harry steals a horse, a cop's horse. He's like a federal agent in pursuit of a suspect, and he like knocks the cop off the horse and steals his horse, which like would get you shot. But but so now whenever you see the horse's feet and you can tell it's a real horse that's running, it's a stuntman. And it's a pretty obvious stuntman. And anytime you can see the motorcycle, the complete motorcycle, and it's doing anything other than sitting still, it's a stuntman.
For sure.
And then I think what they had like a mechanical horse and a mechanical, a top only of a motorcycle that was stationary and rocked, and they did green screen behind them for a lot of the other stuff. And that's when you see the actors. Okay. That's my take. It's what it's, I was trying to figure it out because you never see for sure Arnold on the for sure horse unless the horse is still. You do see a couple where he's just sitting on it and it's just there, but anytime it's galloping or whatever, it's not Schwarzenegger on there. And so I think that's sort of the thing. I think you're right that the sort of close-ups are partly so because the motorcycle wouldn't be able to do that part of it. Yeah. It wouldn't be equipped to kind of do the stairs and do some of the other stuff. But it's a great horse versus motorcycle chase. And I love, Harry the whole time is like, sorry, excuse me, sorry. Like he's apologizing to everybody that he's like blowing past or like having to like jump through their carts at the mall or whatever. Like
he is so courteous and I really enjoy that too. Like he's causing all this havoc and all this damage, but his manners are still intact.
Yeah, exactly.
He's still a gentleman spy when it comes down to it.
Exactly.
There's a scene where there's like a quartet or whatever playing in the lobby of this building, and the motorcycle zooms by him and they're all looking. And then before you see the horse come, the guy playing the saxophone, you hear him like squeal into the sax. He like screams into the saxophone and then the horse bells through. I love that beat.
Excuse me.
Oh my God.
It's the lobby of the Marriott Hotel. It's a big high-rise Marriott, I think is where they are. And so, this is like playing in the lobby, this quartet. Or so there's like clearly an event occurring. And so Salim gets on one elevator with the motorcycle and kind of takes a hostage, or at least somebody that he can hide behind this woman. And then Harry gets gets with the horse into another elevator, and they're these like really great like glass elevators that go real high, and with this old couple, clearly like old rich couple in like a tuxedo and an evening gown, and the horse barely fits in there, and so now they're sort of following up. He goes, "Put the button for the top floor, please," that kind of thing. And finally, the woman like turns to her husband and goes, "You should say something," and he just goes, "It's a fine animal."
Yeah. And then the horse's tail whips his wife in the face right after that.
Oh my God. So
so they make it to the roof
Yes.
now, and Salim's basically he gets to the edge, sees what his surroundings are, and decides, screw it. I'm taking my motorcycle and I'm going off the building into a pool on the neighboring building.
Yeah, which
his knowledge of physics is incredible. His calculations on the fly are really off the charts.
There's got to be some combination of like the speed of the motorcycle and the height difference between the buildings that makes this work.
Yeah.
Right. And distance, but it doesn't look right.
No.
It looks like he goes way too far laterally. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, he drops a long ways. It's not like he's trying to jump across to something that's the same height. It's a much smaller building that he's jumping over to where the pool is. But it really looks like that's not possible.
Right.
It doesn't even look like it's across the street. It almost looks like another block down. It looks far away.
It does look far away. And there's not and it is jumping onto a lower thing, but there's no incline or anything. I would have loved at least just one of those where did that ramp come from type scenes that we always see.
Exactly. Some construction equipment laying around, a big piece of plywood like near the edge. So Harry watches Salim make this jump and goes, we can do this too. Let's do it. So he backs the horse up and is like pushing the horse forward to like make the same jump. And look, the motorcycle shouldn't have been able to make it. A friggin' horse is never going to build up the kind of speed necessary to do that. And the horse knows it. So the horse comes to a screeching halt, its little hooves, skidding along the ground. And he tumbles forward off the horse and is like hanging, by the reins off the building. And luckily the horse is strong enough to like not just keep him there in space, but pull him back up and pull him up. And then he has a very funny sequence here once he gets pulled up and he's like yelling, basically berating the horse for not jumping. He says, "What kind of cop are you anyway?" It's a good one. Oh man.
And in the meantime, so back home, it just showed it for a second, but his wife and daughter had been preparing for his birthday party. They were making him a cake and stuff that. So of course, he comes home super late, too late for his own party.
Yeah.
And they're pissed.
Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't even seem that mad about it. She's like falling asleep at the table, but she doesn't seem that upset. She's like, okay.
I mean, it's his birthday, not hers.
True.
So it's not quite as bad, but
I also think it's just another indicator of her just getting used to like, this is how things are. He's just checked out and he's just not really participatory in the family stuff anymore. So like, okay, what else could I expect? I think it's kind of the vibe.
Yeah. And earlier in like the first morning that they were together, kind of getting ready, he asked her a question and she was talking about, the mechanic said this thing's going to cost this and that. And he was like, "Oh, it sounds good, honey." Like clearly not listening. She's like, he said he'd knock $100 off if I slept with him. And he's just like, "Sounds great, sweetie."
He literally says something like, "Good thinking."
Glazed over it. Yeah.
Like, nice work.
Watch me quickly signing on to online mechanic school to figure out how to get in on that. How many times on the set do you think Charlton Heston confused the Salim actor and then the other guy on the team? Because
more than once,
he's blaming it on the eye patch. He's like, "Oh, well,
with this eye patch, they all look the same." So we were back in the office and they're telling, they've got to look at the guy. So now they're looking through like dossier information. And sure enough, Harry spots, he's got a full beard, which he doesn't have in the present day in the dossier photo, but he finds him and they find out this is a guy whose nickname is Salim something, whatever it is. But he's
Abu Aziz.
There you go. And he is the head of a sort of terrorist faction called Crimson Jihad. And his
kind of a sick name.
It's cool. And his nickname is the Sand Spider. And I love because Charlton Heston asks, like, why do they call him the Sand Spider? And the guy's like, I don't know, because it sounds scary. Like, like there's no good reason kind of thing. But so we establish who this guy is and that, yes, he is indeed like a real bad guy on a global scale. The agency that they're part of here, already aware of him. They're taking it seriously, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so then Harry is like, man, I came home late last night. I got to make it up to Helen, right? And so he has Gibb taken him over to Helen's office. She's like a paralegal or a legal secretary, something like that. And Gibb drops him off, or whatever. And he's like, I'm going to go talk to her and we're going to have lunch together. And I love Gibb's like, so I just stay here? He goes, yeah, buddy, stay here. Like, But as he's walking to Helen's cubicle, she gets her neighbor, whatever, gets a phone call, her little cube neighbor, and leans over and goes, "It's your mystery man on line 1," or whatever. And that's Harry stops and kind of listens without being seen.
Right.
And this is where we get introduced to the character Simon. And Simon is played by Bill Paxton with the douchebaggiest mustache ever. Like on him, it looks so creepy and not good. Like it's so bad.
He is so good at just getting under your skin.
Yeah.
Like he can capture the essence of like the worst kind of person. And randomly, before I watched this, like a day before I watched this, I watched Weird Science, where he plays Chet, the brother, which again is like an iconic version of the asshole brother.
Absolutely.
Bill Paxton he must have been just the most likable guy in real life to be able to be such a shithead.
I've heard only good things.
Yeah.
Like when you hear about Bill Paxton as someone that people had to work with or whatever, you know, he was never implicated in any kind of like wrongdoing or anything, you know, and a lot of people started coming out about those stories. And yeah, so apparently very, very friendly guy to be around on set. So not a surprise that, you know, he would be a good guy who could then turn around and play just the smarmiest assholes.
Yeah. So this character of Simon, I mean, so they're kind of watching her conversation. She's in this Chinese restaurant.
Yeah,
She's
that's
gone
right.
to meet him.
Yeah.
And they're listening in. Do they plant something on her?
Well, so basically like Harry goes back to Gib and is kind of like, you know, basically because he doesn't like she leaves and he leaves before. Nothing happens then right away except that she said, you know, she talks to him like, "Oh, I'll meet you," and like whatever. And so then at dinner, like he goes back out to Gib and is like, you know, like this is what's happening. And Gib's kind of like, "Oh man, your wife's cheating on you. That's such a, you know, hey, you got it better than I do." I love this line. He goes, "You got it better than I do. I came home, my wife left me because she was with this guy, whatever. She took everything, man. She took everything. She took the ice cube trays out of the freezer." What kind of a sick bitch takes the ice cube trays out of the freezer? I love how indignant he is about the ice cube trays. But basically, we then cut to dinner at the Tasker house, and Harry asks, "Oh, I came by your office to take you to lunch. You know, oh, you must have just missed me. Oh, so and so needed," and she tells this whole story about the Xerox machine being the wrong model for the disc that needed the thing printed. Like, really. If you're going to lie, don't lie with that much detail.
Advice to listeners, keep your lies brief.
It's just, so she goes on, and I love the way that it is like zooming in on him as
His
he is getting
face.
so angry as she's like saying all this story. And then the next day when he's at work is when he tells Gib to tap Helen's phones.
That's right.
And then they also like put a bug in her purse.
That's right. Okay, that's what it is. And they end up back meeting again.
That's right.
And Bill Paxton is telling her, oh, he's basically presenting that he was the guy, the mystery person involved in the shootout at the hotel
and the
that left
bathroom
these
fight.
two guys dead, all this stuff, right? And Helen's like, "Oh, you know, that's so impressive." And the way he says, "I can't take credit. It's the training." It's just...
You react in a microsecond. You don't really have a time to think. And Gib and Harry are listening in over the bug in the purse. And Harry and Gib in particular goes, "Oh man, this guy's taking credit for our work." Like
Gib obviously likes this guy because there's part of Gib in this guy.
Yes,
like Simon is probably more like Gib than he is like Harry.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And so he's making Harry furious that he likes his shit. And at one point he's like, "Oh, this keeps getting better." And Harry's watching through binoculars and you just see like one of the lenses pop. Like he crushed it because he was holding them so hard. Really good.
Yes. And so, I love, so the one of the things I love about the when they take the purse to like bug it or whatever, and to put a little thing in it, he has to like toss it out to get Gib in the rain and then go retrieve it from walking the dog. And the dog is this like one step up from a rat. It doesn't want to be on the walk in the rain. He is just like having to drag it along with him so that he can have an excuse to go out and get the purse back from Gib. That dog is not happy.
No, not at all. Not at all. So he's gonna go confront Simon, or gonna go see him in person.
Exactly.
And we get some great lines here.
Well, so Simon's a used car salesman. They follow him from the lunch. They follow him to his work. He's a used car salesman. The Corvette that he's driving, he immediately puts the for sale sign back, a $17,999 or whatever for the Corvette. Great deal at the time if you could afford it. And so, you know, basically he's now going to go in and act like a customer and kind of get some information from this guy. And go for it, because Simon, has got this whole tall tale that he spins. He's telling him about his whole gig, and there's a lot in there.
Yeah, and he's like immediately, I mean, I've met guys like this. We all know the guy who he wants more than anything for other people to think that he's cool at the expense of his reputation, on the very real chance that the shit he's saying is not cool to you.
Yeah, right.
You know,
that's true.
We're like, you're really bragging about some niche shit there, buddy. Like, you're assuming a lot about me. So yeah, he's talking about, oh yeah, you know, you need a car like this. He says the Vette gets him wet, which
so
you know, I always enjoy. It's what we say when we take our dog to get bathed at the veterinarian's office. But when he's talking about his scheme, and then I convinced the women, and I'm so good, and I got them eaten out of my hands or whatever. And Arnie once in a while will say something to him. He's like, what about the husbands? And then Bill Paxton's response is, dickless.
With like a hot dog in his mouth. He's like eating a hot dog or whatever.
Because he first says, no, I'm not going to tell you my thing when they're driving in the car. Cut to him eating a hot dog. All right, let me lay it on you. He's like Worm and Rounders, like eating the hot dog and breaking everything down. He says something about the body. He said, her titties make you want to stand up and beg for buttermilk.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Buttermilk is like clumpy, right? I mean, isn't buttermilk like I don't know. I don't want to think about it.
It's kind of a bags of sand style description, right?
Exactly.
So it's really funny. So, you know, he's obviously like, he's had some experience with this guy as he's talking shit.
And at one point, Harry daydreams of smashing his face and killing him or whatever, and then he's not dead. Which would have been smart. But
that's probably the gnarliest violence in the whole movie.
Actually,
honestly,
it's a brutal hit.
He does one hard backhand fist to the face that just takes him out. It's
really brutal. And so then I think we get the next day, and Gibb has brought some pages of Helen's phone calls to Harry, and he's like looking through them while they're driving in a GMC Jimmy, which, by the way, I forgot how small SUVs were in the 90s. Yeah. There's not an SUV available in the market today as small as this vehicle with these two men in it. It really is wild how enormous they both look inside this thing. But anyway, they're looking, and he's looking through the pages, and he stops and pulls the car over, and he goes like, give me the missing page. It goes from page 9 to page 11. Give it to me now, whatever. And that's, of course, where there's a conversation between Helen and Simon where he's like, meet me at like 8 p.m. On near the Key Street Bridge or something like that, whatever it is. And so now it's like, they're going to go, and he looks and it's almost 8, right? Yeah. And they check their tracker, and it's like, well, she's still at the house. And then Gibbs like, nah, man, the purse is at the house. Like, we got to go. So they go, and they're going to check it out. We see Simon kind of pull up. So Helen is waiting for Simon. Simon pulls up and takes her to his safe house.
Yeah.
Which is a freaking trailer.
Piece of shit place. And as he's pulling out, so he's got that same convertible again. He says, as she gets in the car, he's like, oh, just keep your head down till we're out of the city. And she starts to kind of lean over towards the passenger door a little bit. He's like, here, let me help you. And like shoves her head. It's like, oh, this guy is so fucking creepy.
Oh, and so then they've sicked a few surveillance teams on him to keep an eye on him. There's like a helicopter and a car, and like they're all good. Oh yeah. Her head's in his lap. Ooh boy. Like
and the safe house is super funny because he's explaining to her, he's like, oh yeah, there's too much heat in the penthouse in New York and this in Paris or whatever. So he takes her to the safe house, which is clearly just his like,
that's where he lives.
Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in America, Hollywood fucking trailer.
Exactly.
Really nice.
But he is telling her, I need your help for this op. Because he won't say mission. At one point she says mission. He goes, no, we call it an op. Very important that you say op. But yeah, so this next op is in Paris, and he needs someone to come along with him to be his wife, to play as his wife, because they'll be looking for a single man traveling alone. They won't be looking for a couple, which is like also stupid. Yeah. But he kind of like, he's pouring her wine. I love too the clink of the wine glasses, which are clearly plastic. The way that the first thing we see inside the trailer is them going like clinking their glasses, cheersing, whatever. And it's this dull donk kind of noise. And I love that because it's one more indication of how like not baller this guy really is.
And Simon just doing the worst imaginable Pepe Le Pew imperation, right? He's just climbing up on her, and she seems like she 5% wants it, but it's pretty apparent by the time he gets close enough that.
Well, because she agrees, like, okay, I'll do it. Like, it's okay. I'll do that. Like, this is important, whatever. And he goes, oh, it's very important that we, look like two people that are in love with each other. And he like touches her knee, and she reacts. He's like, oh, that could have gotten us both killed, kind of thing. He's really laying it on. And but when he starts to kiss her, that's when she starts really pushing and pushing back and being like, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is too far.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do this. But in the meantime, Harry and Gib and all their little crew of surveillance, they've all descended upon the trailer and are getting ready to like raid it, basically.
Yeah, and they've got face masks on. I mean, this is terrifying looking. So, and basically what they do is use the blowtorch, like the underwater blowtorch, to just take out the entire side of his trailer and flip it down.
Pull it down, exactly. Which then so they were able to kind of kidnap them both. They put them in separate vehicles. I love as Helen is trying to get away, she ends up kicking Gib in the nuts, and then like punching Harry, I think. And then Harry, and then another guy like slaps or punches her, and Harry knocks him out.
Yeah.
Like, this is still my wife, dude. Like,
and so they bring her to this really cool, like, you know, interrogation room, this scary room behind is it a one-way mirror or two-way mirror? I never say that.
I think it's referred to as a two-way mirror because both sides give you the same view. So you're able to see the same view two ways. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
I'll just say, if you're qualifying mirror with either one-way or two-way, I'll generally know what you're talking about. Otherwise, it's just a mirror.
Regardless, irregardless, it's all the same.
You know, they're asking her these questions and stuff and getting to the essence of like, Helen just like wants to feel special because they're asking her like, who's this guy? What are you doing? Then they get into questions about their relationship.
Right.
You know?
And it's totally fucked up. And he really just needs to talk to his wife. The whole thing is terrifying. Bad.
It is. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. And then, you know, so they basically tell her like, well, we have something for you.
Yeah. You're in trouble, but you can get out of trouble by helping us. Essentially, right? Yeah.
And they give her this proposition of like, oh, you either help us or we kill your husband and your daughter. What is it? She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, of course I'm going to help you guys. Like, that's something you don't see in these kind of movies a lot. Like some levity to that decision.
I also love the moment where they tell her, you know, you'll be contacted and you'll be contacted by a man with the code name Boris.
Yes.
And your code name, and she goes, Natasha? Like Boris and Natasha from Rocky and Bullwinkle. They go, no, Doris. Boris and Doris. Oh my God.
And Simon, in the meantime, they have him. And they have him like, you know, over a dam.
Yeah, like the edge of a dam.
Like dangling him over there, you know.
Gonna make that Richard Kimball jump. Like,
And he folds immediately. Like,
dude's a complete
He's
wuss,
not trying to fight. He's like, oh no, it wasn't me. I was just full of shit. I'm nothing. I'm navel lint. I got a little dick. And he's just saying all this stuff about himself. Incredibly funny.
Before they go, they realize he clearly isn't a threat. He's pissed himself. They're like, we've scared him enough. We're done. We can go. It's like, you know, get the hell out of here, you know, whatever. And he's kind of like, where do I go? Oh, no, wait. If I turn around, you guys will shoot me as soon as I turn around. And I love that Gib just turns and goes, get lost, dipshit, and just fires a few shots at the ground. Get lost, dipshit. Oh my God.
All right. So now we have the assignment that Helen needs to complete.
Right.
And she's basically told that, you know, there's this person who's not going to touch, like he wants a sexy lady or whatever.
Right, yeah.
He's not going to touch you. Like his thing is just watching, but you need to go get close to this guy.
Right. And I love, we see before this, we see the recording occurring where there's a French person, you know, an agent in their offices with a very heavy, he's clearly a French speaker, heavy accent. And he's saying things with this heavy accent, like, you know, turn around, take off your clothes, do it slowly, do it sexy, you know, whatever. And then he turns at one point, he turns out to Gib and he goes, who is this for? Is this for Harrier? C'est la merde. Like, it's like, it's shit. Like, I love that. So so they told her to wear something sexy, you know, be at this hotel at this time, you know, ask for, you know, a letter at the desk for Doris, like, you know, the whole thing. And then, but be sure to dress sexy. Yeah. I was like, and what she's wearing initially, at least, is not sexy. It is like a little black dress, but it's got all this like tulle, like sleeves and a big collar and a bunch of extra, you know, material down below the hem and everything. And it's just, it looks very like a middle-aged housewife's idea of what looking sexy is.
Oh, totally.
You know,
Helen's idea of what she wore as a bridesmaid's dress to her sister's wedding.
Exactly.
Or whatever, back in the day. Yeah, really good. But you know, she is aware, or do they tell her that he likes it a certain way, so she knows she has to change that? It's
once she gets there, she's given a phone number to call and a room key, and so she calls the phone number, and it's Gib, but with like a voice modulator, and he basically says like, you know, you're a prostitute named Michelle. You go up to the room, and he goes, you don't expect me. And she's like, no. This is when he says he just likes to watch, but his normal. You tell her the normal girl Chloe or whatever, she's not available. So now that she knows that she's a prostitute, she goes upstairs, sees herself in the mirror in like the hallway outside the suite, and realizes that she she doesn't look like a prostitute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is when she does a little like hallway tailor. She takes her glasses off. She rips all the like tulle, all the like whatever off of like the sleeves, the hem, everything. It turns it into a
very accurately.
Well, and
I think the dress was probably constructed.
I think it maybe even she made the dress or something. We could like posit potentially, but yeah, the idea is that they're pretty separated. He's ripping along the seams to do this stuff. But it turns into a very sexy little black dress. She takes water out of the flower pot to like slick her hair back, and then she doesn't. So she's just doing a good job of like making it look like she would look the part. Like she gets it.
Oh yeah,
right. She definitely is understanding the assignment in that sense.
Definitely. And she shows up now in this room, and in the corner there's a figure in the shadows who's sitting there.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, that's far enough, and starts communicating to her using the videotape with some Kevin McAllister level skills, operating the rewinding and fast forwarding. I mean, he's doing great at it at first.
I think that some of the least believable stuff in any of the movies that we've covered, and we've covered movies with aliens and sci-fi technology, the least believable shit is people being able to fast forward and rewind to specific points in tapes.
Yeah.
At will. I just don't buy it. It's like, it almost takes me out of the moment in the movie.
Right.
Anytime that happens, it's like, fuck you. That is not, I have tried to do shit like that. It is impossible.
He would need like a sampler the size of a large pizza box on his lap to like have all the buttons for the stuff he needs to say to get it timed right.
If it was far enough in the future where we were talking about a mini disc or something digital and you had tracks that you could jump back and forth, I'd buy it. Because then it's like each little phrase could be the next track, and you just need to skip back to do that one again or something like that. Like that I could get, but a tape, come on.
Oh boy.
No.
Too manual.
No. But anyway, he basically tells her to like take the dress off and dance basically. And look, she looks amazing. This is 11 years after Trading Places, but she hasn't missed a beat. She looks great. And the dance is legendary. It's a legendary striptease. It's about 2 minutes long. I can't tell if there's music playing or if in the world of the music, she's just dancing and we're getting music to make it less weird. But where would that music have come from?
Yeah.
I don't think it was diegetic. I don't think it was in the scene. So she's dancing to no music.
The awkwardness of her dancing might suggest no music.
Yeah. And
because also like it is very sexy. She looks amazing. She's really funny during this.
Yes.
Like there's a few physical comedy things that have to happen there. And she does a great job of like kind of living in these two worlds at once.
Even the moment before she gets into the suite, there's a moment as she's walking towards it and we see her full body from her heels up and her ankle kind of buckles a little.
Yeah.
She's not used to wearing tall heels like that. I love that kind of stuff. That is so perfect. Because damn well Jamie Lee Curtis could walk in any size heel she wants perfectly.
Yeah.
But she did that just right to like make it look like her character is uncomfortable.
Yeah, those awkward things there. And this is this is a long scene. This is like almost halfway through the movie.
Right,
this is kind of like an intermission for horniness. It's like let's go. This is the hole in the popcorn bucket moment for all you fellas out there. But man, this is very well done.
Yeah.
And it builds to the point.
Right. We're basically like, so now Harry is telling her to lay down on the bed and close her eyes. And she's kind of like, oh, I told you, nobody said they would do anything. Well, she obviously doesn't know it's Harry. He's going to go up and he starts like rubbing, like not rubbing, but like, placing like a rose, like along her lips and like down her chest and everything.
He's kind of doing the face off thing.
Doing a little bit. That's true. Not with his hands, thankfully, but with the rose petal or the rose bud. And so he's doing that. But she is like, convinced this is some other dude and she's not about to bang anybody for anybody. So she reaches over and grabs the telephone off of the nightstand and just slams him across the face.
Yes.
A couple times before realizing Harry, and whatever. But of course, as soon as that happens, cue Salim and the bad guys, they are busting down the door and grabbing them both. And this is a great dynamic briefly where Helen believes that she is there on a real secret mission and therefore is the target of this attack because Harry's just a computer salesman. It couldn't be him. And so she keeps telling him, Harry, let me take care of this. Harry, be quiet. Let me. And he's like, she's a crazy bitch. Like, leave her alone. You don't need the hooker. You just need me. Like, whatever. It's very funny.
Yeah. Such a smart way to keep this going here. And one thing is when she hits him with the phone.
Yeah.
He makes the Arnie sound. And that would be one thing that would tip me off, right?
Yes.
It's like if it was me, I'd be like, look, but wow. And after like 5 of those, she still doesn't realize it's him yet.
I also like on that topic, but back just a bit when we were in the two-way mirror interrogation room and he's doing the talking. And I know there's a voice modulation. So it sounds like this, but wouldn't it still sound like, like he says, like, do you still love your husband? Would it be like, do you still love your husband? And wouldn't it sound like his delivery?
Extract your accent.
Yeah, exactly. It should be so obvious. This is sort of like
I could eat a peach for hours.
Oh God, this is the kind of thing that happens with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Though we talked about it last week in Total Recall, where it's like he's playing an everyman character, but he's not an everyman. Like this, he doesn't work in like the movie Jingle All the Way, which I love, by the way, and we will definitely see at some point. But like he doesn't work in a lot of ways in that because he's this enormous 6'3" or 4. Bulky, enormous Austrian guy with a thick accent. Nobody buys that he's like a computer salesman from the DMV, or or in Jingle All the Way, like just some. I think he literally runs like a carpet business in Minnesota. Like, give me a break, right? Like whatever. And it's that kind of thing where it's like, why didn't she hear him immediately be like, it's like Harry, like that should have been.
It's like his most distinctive noise, right? So this is great. They're captured by Salim, and he basically brings them right to show him the warhead.
Right. Well, that's
to show them both the warhead.
But in the meantime, though, Juno is part of the kidnapping, right?
Yes.
So we've got with the Tia Carrere, she's back, and of course she realizes quickly that Helen is telling the truth about it's Harry. He's not part of this. He's just a computer salesman, and she's like, so this is your wife, kind of thing, and makes a little flirty motion or whatever, and makes Helen pissed off, and then they both get tranquilized on the plane ride over.
That's right.
And so they ended up. Where they don't know where they are, but they're like on an island. Salim mentions that, they're on like an island because they've got these 4 warheads. And this is where Helen fully realizes that Harry actually is a spy, because Salim says he is being brought here to confirm to the world what we have, what is here, and that it is capable, and that we have what we say we have, and we can use it. If I'm wrong and he's not who I believe he is, I'll kill you both. So you better hope I'm right. Because she's trying to convince him. No, he's just a computer salesman. He's like, if that's true, you're both dead, because this is why he's here. And that's when he goes like, these are Russian MIRV rockets or whatever. He does the whole thing, right? And so this is what he's there for.
And first he shows it to him, though, but Arnie's being snarky with him. He's like, do you know what this is?
Right,
like, it's an espresso machine. And he
it's
goes
a
through
snow cone maker.
different things. So Salim's like, hey, basically, like, we got to let the entire world know that Crimson Jihad is now a nuclear power.
Right.
And he makes this crazy demand where I'm like, oh, dude, what a terrorist. He said, I want all military forces out of the Middle East.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit. Everything's gone well with everything there.
Look, he's threatening anyone in the world with nuclear annihilation. So that's bad. But like, this is another of those freedom fighter.
This
terrorist
is like
freedom fighter.
Hey,
like,
man,
what?
the consequence should maybe not be so extreme, but I like what you're going for.
I mean, arguing that American involvement in the Middle East was too heavy-handed in the early 90s is like not a bad argument to make, as it was, so that's interesting. But again, this is the 90s. This was the time, I think this is one of the first movies, or at least right around this time in movies in the mid 90s, where we shifted from like every movie, because it was post Berlin Wall, we couldn't have the Soviets. They weren't around anymore. They couldn't be the bad guys in all these geopolitical thrillers and movies where, we had a global scale threat. Couldn't be the Soviets anymore because there were no Soviets. So movies like this and Air Force One and a bunch of others where it's, essentially like Islamic jihadists like
or
whatever.
Libyan or something.
Yeah, it's always something like that.
Because the 93 World Trade Center thing would have been like in place when this movie was written.
Exactly. And there's that. So I will say Iron Eagle was a bit ahead of the curve. I think that was 1986, and they were already, nameless Middle Eastern country was sort of the bad guys in that one. So they came at it early.
When Salim he's making his video and he's getting on there and doing the like, so America needs to know we will destroy one major city every day, until this is done. And then the guy is kind of recording him and meekly like sticks his head out from the eyepiece of the camera, is like, battery. Just again, like so great. Like this is what sets this movie apart from other action movies, is it humanizes even the worst bad guys in a way by like this goofy human shit happening.
It's like, what do you mean? Go get another battery. I think I have one in the truck. Shh. It's over here. Shh, just go. Like he just is so done with it. But they actually, so now they put, Helen and Harry into this little like almost looks like a barn or some kind of like wood tool shed or something. It's a small little building on the thing. He says we're on this uninhabited island. He doesn't say where they are, but we're on an uninhabited island. This is where we will detonate the first one to prove what we can do, and to show that we can be humanitarian or something. So he says like we can be reasonable and not necessarily like basically their test shot. They're going to waste one of their warheads to just prove they have them.
Like the one in the rock that just went into the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of idea. Exactly. So there's that. So they take Helen and Harry because they want to basically get information out of Harry. And we meet Samir, I think is the name of the old guy who's like the torture dude.
Ooh, this guy's a creepy looking guy.
Really creepy looking, way too skinny, kind of like gross, whatever. And he gives a truth serum, a sodium pentothal, I think it was ever, injection to Harry, and is like, I'll be back when this takes effect, or whatever. And it starts affecting him almost right away. And Helen's like, what's going on? He goes, truth serum. So you have to sell the juice. Ask me something where I would normally lie. And she's like, are we going to die? He goes, yup.
That's good.
They're going to shoot us in the head or torture us to death or leave us here for the nuke to go off. He's like, Harry, stop.
The truth serum scene is really good. And in the meantime, Abu Aziz is going through Salim is going through his stuff, and he finds the picture that includes their daughter.
That's right.
So he's like, all right, I got this.
And we find out Gib is on the way at some point here in a cut because the purse is still bugged. And so before Salim and his guys find the purse and the bug in it, Gib and they're already on the way to the island to try and find these people. Yeah. They're in helicopters or whatever. And they find out that they're in the Florida Keys.
Yes.
They are one of the very, very distant islands of the Florida Keys, because later, just a little bit later, Harry and Helen are looking, and Helen goes, if we're on an island, why are they using trucks? And Harry goes, we must be in the Keys because there's a highway that goes and connects them all. And it's little indicators that they're kind of aware of things going on around them. But I love when, Helen asks Harry too, did you ever kill anybody? He goes, yeah, but they were all bad. And then Samir comes back and is like, oh, it's ready to do this. And he goes, are you ready to tell the truth? Or he goes, yes, I'm going to kill you very soon. Oh, how would that happen exactly? And he kind of goes, I'm going to use you as a human shield, and I'm going to kill that guy with one of those weapons, and then I was thinking about breaking your neck. Whatever he says. I'm doing a terrible Arnold impression now. But he's just like...
It got a little like Dracula partway through. I like that.
I want to suck your blood. No, but he's basically like, oh, really? And he's like, well, how are you going to do that? He's like, my handcuffs? He's like, I picked them. And then so he shows him, and then another fight ensues.
It's so quick.
Good. It's so fast, but it's so good.
Oh man, I really love that. Yeah, and their whole escape and him just dispatching guys quickly and efficiently.
Like John Wick style,
and then Salim is talking to his crew because they're all celebratory because all right, we're in. We have armed the first bomb. So they're gonna know what we have. This isn't gonna destroy people, but this is the power move we have to make. And the way you celebrate is you just keep firing a gun up in the air forever.
Yes.
Florida Keys not the worst place to do that.
To be fair, pretty uninhabited.
Anywhere in Florida, not the worst place to fire a gun in any direction. But yeah, I always like the celebratory Uzi fire in the air.
They do encase the bomb after it's armed. They put cement on it, so it really can't be dealt with at this point. It's going to go off. They put an 1.5-hour timer, and that it's probably quickcrete or whatever. It's not going to take long to harden, so that is going to go off whether they want it to or not. As Helen and Harry are trying to make their escape, Harry continues to beat guys up, shoot them, fight, whatever. And at one point, Helen gives a great line where she kind of under her breath goes, "I married Rambo," which is extra funny because that's Stallone and not Schwarzenegger, and I love that sort of play on the idea that she's referencing a Stallone character.
Oh yeah,
right. It's funny.
Well, we get that again in is it Last Action Hero?
Oh yeah,
there's the joke is that because in that world I think Sylvester Stallone was the Terminator in that joke, right? In that world,
Schwarzenegger isn't a movie star because he's that character, that cop or whatever. Yeah, very funny stuff.
And then in Demolition Man, Stallone is talking about the Schwarzenegger Presidential Library. So it is funny to see these guys talk about each other. Back and forth.
They knew who they were. You know what I mean? Those two for sure.
So he's translating. They know what's going on here. He gives Helen a gun.
Gives her the Uzi, which seems like a bad call initially, in my opinion. She handed her a pistol, but gives her the Uzi.
And he's telling her to help him out. And this scene is incredible and super ingenious and everything. So she goes to shoot the Uzi, and the recoil takes her hand back. Immediately she's having trouble shooting it. It falls out of her hand. Yes. And then the Uzi perfectly like a deadly slinky is just tumbling down the stairs and blasting off little bursts of rounds exactly at all the guys who are coming after them.
She kills 10 dudes with this bouncing Uzi and is just I love it. It is inspired goofball shit. And it's great. For sure.
I just love the brainstorm of what's a fun way to kill people.
Right.
And this is really one of the best I've seen.
And I think in the very next scene, as they're continuing to fight their way kind of out of this thing and deal with this, is really great too, is that he gets a gasoline dispenser hose, and he's got a machine gun with him, and he uses the muzzle flash from the machine gun to light the gasoline and then uses it like a flamethrower. Brilliant. Love
Incredible. Give me Arnie busting his way out of a compound any day of the week.
Absolutely.
It really always works.
And then this particular sequence of battling kind of comes to an end as Salim grabs a missile launcher and shoots it at Harry, but it actually hits like a gas tank and a huge explosion occurs. But Harry, we see, is able to just dive into the water off the dock, kind of ahead of the fireball.
Yeah.
But to everybody on the other side of that tank, it looks like he's dead.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And so Helen thinks he's dead. Salim thinks he's got him. He even goes like, yes, or whatever, which is super goofy.
Salim's another, just one of those little things that kind of humanizes this guy that makes this movie like more fun than being dark.
Yeah.
And Harry's dive, just perfect Olympic form going off in there. No splash.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Also, clearly the stuntman again. Very obviously.
It might have been Arnie wearing a rubber mask of the stuntman's face because he didn't want to.
Oh, that's definitely something they do for sure. Yeah, that's common.
So Juno's got Helen. They're in this stretch limo going out. There's a couple of like rider trucks that both have warheads in them.
Right. So there's 3 warheads left. 2 of them are on like package trucks, like box trucks, and one of them is on a helicopter that Salim gets on. So they fly off to wherever they're headed. We don't know, they don't say ahead of time. And the 2 like rental trucks, and then the limo that Juno and Helen are in follow and just start driving down, that highway that connects all the keys. They're driving down that way. Because we know that time is ticking, right? And that thing's gonna go off. So Gib arrives with the crew, the helicopters, and of course Harry's the only one left because everybody else is either dead or has left the island on those trucks and stuff. So he walks out and is like telling him like, we got to get out of here, all this stuff. They find out like that the blast radius or like the safe zone should be about 12 miles away. So make sure you get everybody, Coast Guard, sheriffs, like whoever, get everybody away from at least 12 miles around this island, whatever, that kind of thing. And this is one of the best action sequences in the movie at this point. We've got 2 Marine Corps Harrier jets coming to play. And I got to say, I loved Harrier jets as a kid. I thought they were the coolest damn planes. And they looked neat. They had those big turbines in the front. They could do the vertical takeoff and landing stuff. Like Harriers were freaking cool. And that is one of my favorite things about this movie is that they really feature these 2 Harrier jets pretty much for the rest of the movie. Yeah. From this point, for the rest of the movie, the Harriers play an incredibly important
the main
part.
Thing, right?
Exactly. So it's really good. If you're a fan of the Harrier, good stuff.
And I love that it's Harry and a Harrier. I think that's nice.
Very nice.
The Harrier jets are cool as shit. And they're pursuing these trucks, going across the bridge, trying to blow up the bridge and stuff. The trucks are trying to shoot at them. At one point, from the back of one of the trucks, one of the terrorists picks up like a missile launcher to shoot down the jet, but he just shoots it through the guy in the front seat, like Ricky O style, just through his chest.
Literally using the missile launcher backwards.
Oh my God.
Or no, I don't even think it's that. I think the missile goes out the back of it, but it's like the exhaust or the propulsion from the missile launcher launches the dude out the car.
Okay,
it's
I thought he just
the
went
missile
through
does
him, but yeah, that makes
I think the
more
missile
sense.
does go towards the rocket, like, or go towards the plane. The plane's able to dodge it, but I think it's that like propulsion exhaust or whatever that like blows the dude back and like out the like just front windshield. Bye-bye. Like super bad. And so then they try with the guns and they don't really have a ton of success. I think they do maybe stop one of the vans that way, but the other one's still going. And so Harry calls in, it's like, Marines, like, use your Maverick missiles, go for the bridge. And one of the pilots goes, sir, just double checking, the missile explosions won't set the nukes off, right? And he goes, that is affirmative. And then he looks at Gibb and kind of shrugs, like, I don't know. Like, maybe, I don't know. Like, that is a risky thing, dude. Like,
the urgency of this was kind of funny to me because it's like, so they get across the bridge. They're still just in Florida. Yeah. We got hours before they get to anything we care about. So just, wait until you.
It's true. I mean, Miami's nice. They do end up targeting Miami.
That bridge though is so fun as a setting.
Yes,
and just like those crazy long bridges reminds me of the San Mateo Bridge. Like I do think about this movie when I go on that bridge because that's one of the few like very low, very long bridges that we have around here.
Absolutely,
so we've got this. One of the trucks kind of gets right up to the edge. They'd blown up the bridge in front of it. They're able to just stop, and it's teetering over the edge. You can see the guys kind of freaking out. And then the truck rocks back a little, so the guy in the front seat looks back relieved, like, we're good.
It's fine.
And then a seagull lands on the front.
It's a big ass pelican.
Okay, a pelican lands on the front of the truck and tips it down. And of course, it explodes on impact because why would it not?
Right, of course. Also, not setting off the nuke. I mean, I guess there is some detonator you specifically have to do to light these nuclear weapons, but it does explode with a nuclear warhead on it. It's not good.
No, none of this is good. I mean, even the stuff where it's like, we diverted. yeah, we still get a lot of ongoing environmental remediation here after this.
So
the girls are fighting in the limo now.
Yes. So now Juno is about to like shoot not at Helen. I think she's going to shoot out at the helicopter or something. I can't remember. But basically Helen like grabs the gun or tries to. Juno ends up shooting her driver, and his foot basically just lands on the gas and just is not moving. Right. So now no one's in the control of the car, but it's speeding. It's getting faster and faster, going to all pedal to the metal, bouncing back and forth between the sides of the bridge as the two girls are inside, the two women are inside fighting. And I gotta be honest with you, Jamie Lee Curtis is whooping her ass. Like she is doing a great job. Who trained this woman to fight, right? The character, I mean, like who trained Helen Tasker to fight?
Right?
She can do it. She is whooping it.
She spent like 10 minutes on the exercise bike, but that was enough for her to like, get back in. But yeah, she's fucking awesome.
She's great. And she ends up kind of taking Juno out by smacking her twice hard with a full champagne bottle, which
doesn't break.
Well, no, that's not surprising. Champagne bottles are thick enough and strong enough to withstand 6 atmospheres of pressure inside.
Yeah, but in a movie, you're breaking glass when you hit somebody with glass.
That's fair. But I do not think she could have possibly survived those 2 strikes to the head with that bottle. Like I thought for sure she was dead.
Yeah.
When she comes to a few minutes later, I'm like, no way. Like there is no way.
Yeah, she came to, she was way too peppy when she came to.
Yeah, she should be like permanent brain damage at a minimum with that amount of strike there. There's a concussion protocol to go through here. This whole like rescue scene now becomes amazing because like she isn't, so the driver's dead. She's incapacitated. Juno, she goes up through the sunroof of the limo and Harry and Gib are in a helicopter trying to get to her basically.
Yeah.
And it is an incredibly tense and awesome sequence of they all recognize that the bridge is out ahead, right? They're racing towards where the Harriers destroyed the bridge and she will die if they can't get her out of there and they can't stop the car or slow it down. So they are like, Harry is hanging off the skids of the helicopter trying to get her hand. And, only at the very last moment is she able to finally reach him and grab onto him so that he doesn't even pull her up. The limo
just separates from her. Yeah.
Descends below her into the water as she is continuing to like whatever, but it's a fantastic sequence. Very, very cool.
Yeah. I love that. That's a great stunt. And so they still have the bomb. I mean, they know that the bomb is going to go off in a couple minutes.
Yes.
So they land and everything. And Tom Arnold's going around telling everyone like, all right, it's about to go off. Don't look at this.
Yeah, don't look at the blast. It'll blind you. Like,
And Arnie and Harry and Helen now are kissing like as this nuclear blast is going on behind them.
I mean, one of the coolest backdrops to a kiss possible is a nuclear explosion in a safe distance. Like that is cool. But this is also the next indicator, right? Where all of these things that they have gone through together, they're good. Yeah. Like Helen and Harry were having a rough patch.
Yes.
But they love each other and they are going to be rededicated to each other. This is the moment that like ends the subplot in a sense of the marriage of the Taskers. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like that's cool. We're good with that. That part's done. Now Gib is like, hey, we found him. We found Salim. He's in Miami. He's up on the roof of this building that's being like worked on whatever in downtown. He's got the warhead with him. He's got a hostage. He's got Dana. They really gloss over how the hell they got her. They live in suburban DC. We're now in Miami. He only saw that picture maybe the night before. So who is grabbing her and getting her to Miami in time for all this? It's a little suspect in my opinion, but we need like an additional, what I don't need. It's good to have an additional sort of like urgency to all this because it's upon hearing that gets Harry himself to get into one of the Harrier jets and start flying it.
Yeah.
They make a big deal about like Gib is like, it's been 10 years since you've flown one of these things, man. Like you don't pretend you can keep doing this, whatever. And I love when he's talking, the pilot's like, hey, somebody's got to sign for this like aircraft. You can't just take it. He goes, oh yeah, I'll sign that. And Tom's like, it's cool. He's got like 100 hours in the simulator. He's a little rusty right now, but he's going to pick, it's like riding a bike. It's fine. He's going to be right back on it. And he's like crushing police cars and stuff.
Him trying to take off in that plane is so funny.
And again, sorry. Excuse me. Sorry.
What a gent. I really like the commandeering of vehicles in this movie. This is like one of my favorite commandeering films because we've commandeered an animal, a motorcycle, and now a jet.
Yeah, and Salim commandeering that motorcycle and ripping that guy off of it while it's in motion is pretty badass.
He did that without the mic. Yeah, the bike didn't even have to stop. It was like one fluid motion.
Yeah.
So Salim and the crew, they're on like the 20th floor of some building, and it's on the news and everything, and they know it, and he's got a helicopter up there and stuff.
And they're like firing weapons from the roof, but not just at anyone, just very indiscriminately.
Like stay away from us.
Exactly, that kind of thing, yeah. And sure enough, they have Dana. Dana, the Harry and Helen's daughter, is there being held, whatever. And there's this moment where Salim goes and puts the sort of key that he wears around his neck for the arming device. He puts it in, but at that time they're told that the news crew that they asked for has arrived. So like, don't shoot, the news crew's coming up, which of course includes Harry and Gibbs' buddy from the agency, as the one with the camera, which we see pretty quickly. But as Salim is like talking to the news crew and like being filmed, it goes like, we, the Crimson Jihad, with one turn of that key, and the reporter, who's an idiot, turns and goes, what key? That key. And he turns and goes, who took the key?
Yeah, and Dana thinking smart again. Not in her mind the daughter of a secret agent.
No, right.
Just like the daughter of the most boring parents in the world, but she has these instincts, man. It's in her blood.
And I don't know why she would, but it's ballsy, and she takes it, and she runs out and and they literally just like kill her, like shoot her. Like they don't care about the hostage part anymore. He needs that key back.
Yeah.
But she gets up onto the roof and then out onto a crane. And this is kind of what saves her from being shot, is that now if he were to shoot her, her body and the key would fall to the ground below. He'd never get that key back. Right. So now he can't shoot at her. And there's no way she would have like known that. I think she was just trying to get away.
Yeah.
Right. But then she does think eventually and threatens and says, if you shoot me, like this will fall, but it's like initially, I think Salim realizes that before Dana says it to him. So it's almost like Dana realized it after the fact, but it's still like good. That's this position she's in. And this is when Dad, Harry, arrives in the Harrier, and again, we start sort of like the reverse of the limo thing, where we're trying to get Dana to like drop down onto the jet from above, but it's like, it's terrifying and he can't really get close enough. And again, we're in this sort of, Stallone at the beginning of Cliffhanger. Are you going to be able to hold on or not? There's all this going on, whether it's the crane or the Harrier or anything. And it's just a lot of like, somebody could slip. Like somebody could slip is like a huge part of this movie.
Oh my God. Yeah, it totally is. And his precision piloting this thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it just seems, it's very intense. And we were just taken from like one of the best action sequences ever, where the movie could have like wrapped up and everyone could be satisfied at that point. And now this is so over the top. One thing I love in the Harrier is where he basically uses it to blast out the entire floor with the guns. Those are the most damaging guns I've ever seen.
I don't know
what it just disintegrated. It was almost like you could take the entire floor out. Like if you took a whole level of Jenga out like really fast at once, and the building would just drop into place on top of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, it was all the glass, right? He was destroying the windows and killing the people, but probably not, this isn't jet fuel. The steel beams are fine.
So and the camera crew now, his guy has basically taken his gun. Awesome, good like resolution for this character, because he's kind of like the wimpy whatever
like the tech
guy,
like
the nerd guy, and then it turns out, oh no, this guy is a stone cold killer.
He's still in Omega Sector, which we have to assume is like CIA plus. He knows how to use a weapon, and sure enough, he's got it like secreted in the video camera, right? And he pulls it out and just boom, boom, boom. Again, Deadeye, just three bullets, 3 dead guys.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so the crane is happening here. So we got some tension between the crane, and we're hanging, and the Harrier's there.
Yeah.
And Salim's basically, he's climbing out towards Dana. Right. And Dana's finally like, looks like she's lowering herself down.
Right. She does finally kind of drop onto it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hanging on to the front of the cockpit, essentially, right? And that's when Salim is like, well, I'm not just going to let him just fly away. So he kind of jumps onto the plane, is kind of hanging out on the back of the plane and trying to get to the cockpit. At one point, Harry looks at Dana and kind of signals, to like his right or whatever. And they try to like, make it so that the whole thing falls. That he slips off, but he gets caught. He gets caught on a missile on like his backpack or something. Right. And that's when, Harry gets to give maybe the last like one-liner of the movie. Well, not the last, but like one of the better ones, you're fired, and just
fires the missile, which goes through the missing floor of the building, right into the other bad guys in the helicopter.
So very
like
clean.
Taking out the remaining Crimson Jihad has no members anymore.
That's right. The entire faction is now done, and he is able to land with Dana and get her safely to the ground, and the taskers are good. They're okay.
Yeah, they're good. And now, I think we're kind of flashing forward a bit, because it doesn't give a whole lot of like, bad guys going off in handcuffs, because there's
They're all
nothing to
dead.
handcuff.
No, all the bad guys are
a
dead.
snow shovel at this point. So it kind of cuts forward, and they're at a very similar ball to the one they were at in the beginning.
Initially, it's 1 year later, and it's the Tasker home, and they're like doing a thumb war. He's playing thumb wars with Dana and whatever. But then there's a phone call, and Helen gets up, and it's the modulated voice, like Tom Hardy's like, Boris and Doris, like, it's time for another mission or whatever.
Nice.
And so now they're working together. And then, yes, they end up at a party, very much like the opening sequence at Lake Shepo. And, but Helen is like fully on board. She is fully involved. She's part of this system now. And so they are doing the same kind of stuff with like, oh, Colonel, nice to see you. Like the whole like hiding in plain sight. And then they decide to tango. And I love that Tom Arnold is like, I'm tired of being in the van. I've been in the van for 15 years. You guys are doing van next time. Like, I'm tired of this. This is dumb. Like, get out of there. Like,
and they run into at the party, because I think Harry is pretending to be a waiter.
No.
Party?
No. They're guests. They're just guests. But they run into Simon.
Simon is there, and he's talking shit. He's doing. And how did he end up there?
I think he's actually a cater waiter.
Oh,
right.
Okay,
He's actually a cater waiter, but he's pretending to some gorgeous woman in an evening gown that he's only there pretending to be a cater waiter, so that because he's actually a secret agent and like whatever. And that's when, Harry and Helen kind of, and we can't really see it, but she's got like lipstick that she puts up against his chin as if it's the butt of a gun.
Yeah.
And he just pisses himself again.
He pisses himself twice. That's a lot of self-pissing for like no alcohol being consumed.
Right. Yes. Yep. And then they tango the night away, I guess. Regardless of the mission, they just decide to do a tango. Again, Jamie Lee Curtis looks great in that dress. The tango is sexy. That's all that. And I do love that Tom Arnold is talking. Gibb continues to talk to them in their ears. And he goes like, don't ignore me, Harry. That's rude. Like, I just love that stuff.
Yeah, and the way that it just kind of goes to the credits. So he's saying like, hey, you don't have time to tango. You got a mission. And they're ignoring him. And it's kind of panning out as the credits are rolling.
Yep.
Great way to end this movie.
Yeah. That's True Lies. That is
oh my
that's
gosh.
the whole thing. Whew, okay, man. Well, this was my pick. I'll go ahead and kind of give my rating first. I watched this movie over the course of the day yesterday. I did have to kind of pause in the middle and take care of some stuff. So it was sort of you do a little bit and then you come back to the rest of it. And it didn't matter. I picked right up where I left off with a huge shit-eating grin on my face the whole time. This is one of those movies that watching it just makes me smile.
Yeah.
It is so much fun. It is such a good action movie, but it is also such a funny movie. Tom Arnold, I'm not usually a big fan. It's probably not fair to him. I associate him with Roseanne Barr too much. And that's, I think, part of the reason why I don't like him is that sort of birds of a feather thing. So maybe not fair to Tom Arnold. This is a fantastic casting decision. This is a fantastic role for him. He is perfect for this because he's just kind of masculine enough that you buy that he's in this agency to begin with, but he's also like appropriately a little soft bodied and kind of, you know what I mean? And kind of nerdy. And the fact that you can imagine that this thrice divorced guy gets through life by being funny. Like, yeah, I buy that. I completely buy that. Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis are both amazing in this. Again, I this is exactly the kind of role that Schwarzenegger should play. It's always funny when he is like given this role where it's like, he's it doesn't work that he's a normal guy.
Yeah.
But that's how the charm of Arnie kind of works. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and there was nothing about it that made me go, oh, well, that doesn't hold up, or oh, that doesn't work, or anything like that. I'm a 5 out of 5. I've been handing out 5s like candy lately, but I'm a 5 out of 5 on True Lies. I think this movie is wonderful. I enjoyed every minute of it, and it's a longer one. We're at 2 hours 21, I think, is this one. So it's a longer movie, but it didn't really feel like it. It's a fantastic film, and 5 out of 5.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I think all those points are great. One thing I did want to bring up is Arnie was almost never paired with somebody like Tom Arnold before or after this, like a comic relief buddy to be like his sidekick.
Well, twins
in a movie. Yeah, but that's not an action. It's not like a same kind of movie.
No, that's true.
But it works so well. Yeah. Like if he had done a series of like 48 hours type movies, I think would have done excellent for him.
Yeah.
But this is some of the best acting that Schwarzenegger does.
Yeah.
Just in terms of like, he knows what he needs to do. Like he's very effective comedically. He's good at pretending at being super slick. He's good at being a dork.
Yeah.
He really like does it. Jamie Lee Curtis, incredible. The bad guys, the villains and stuff, like it's hard to pick anything apart. And my only beef would be like, yeah, it's a little long, but again, what am I removing from this movie except for Jamie Lee Curtis's clothes?
Ayo!
But yeah, dude, I mean, if we're rating Arnie, this is the best gateway Arnie film. This is a movie that might get you to enjoy other Arnie films. Like, we have one more left in JanuArnie, which might not be so user-friendly. This is a good way to get into like the general type of shit that he does, surrounded by a bunch of stuff that's acceptable to everybody. I'm going to go 5 on this one as well. This movie's awesome. It's fucking really James Cameron in his prime, Arnie in his prime. Hard to beat. Really fun. Watch it if you haven't.
Yeah.
And
love it. Love it. 10 out of 10. It's, I think, maybe our 4th 10 out of 10 movie. The Fugitive, The Silence of the Lambs. I'm not even sure if we did any others, but not very many. But this is like one of the few 5 out of 5s from us, or 10 out of 10s total altogether.
The Thing.
Oh, The Thing was a 10 out of 10. That's right. But that's it. This is only the 4th one out of 45 movies. So fairly rare praise from us for True Lies. Okay, man, we do have one more week in JanuArnie.
We do.
You've got another pick. What are we going to wrap up this Arnold Schwarzenegger Film Fest with?
Okay, well, we'll see how this one goes, because this is my personal favorite Schwarzenegger movie. Okay, and I don't know if I'll even give it a 5 because I'm trying to rate, in terms of what other people might want to see. But this is the one that gives me like the most of his essence. Like, it has the most Arniness to it, the most like weird bullshit, crazy action. We're going to go to 1985. We're going to go to, I don't know, some fucking unknown island run by a bad guy. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. He's going to be buff as hell. He's going to have all kinds of cool weapons. He's going to have to rescue his daughter, Alyssa Milano. And we're going to visit 1985's Commando. Nice. Commando. I got to be honest with you, I'm not sure I've ever seen Commando start to finish in one sitting. I know I've seen lots of stuff from it over the years, but I don't think I've ever sat down and watched Commando beginning to end. So I'm very excited about that. It's so funny, so many of these action movies where it's like, the sort of like gorgeous younger actresses playing the daughters of people that like we ended up kind of knowing, through more adult roles later in their careers. But like, we had obviously Eliza Dushku in True Lies here, Alyssa Milano next week in Commando. We had Dominique Swain in Face Off. Like, it's just so funny to look back at some of these and think about the age we were at the time. Totally. Alyssa Milano is a little older than us, but like, again, this is 85. So super excited for that. Cannot wait to watch Commando and talk to you about Commando next week, man. That's going to be great. All right. Cool. That's a wrap. So if you like what you hear, and we hope you do, please consider heading over to Apple or Spotify and leaving us a 5-star review. It really helps new folks find the show. Be sure to check out our website at twodadsOnemovie.com. That's the number 2 and the number 1. There you can contact us directly, find out all kinds of info about our episodes and the films we discuss, search through transcripts of the show, and much more. We'd also love it if you followed us on Instagram at 2dads1movie. Once again, this has been True Lies, another episode of 2 Dads, 1 Movie. I'm Steve. And I'm Nick. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks, everyone.